Hello and welcome, fellow tankers. Let's talk about the Mirny event this year, which is kind of a big disappointment in my opinion. We have the Stitch, of course. Let's talk about the main reward. It is at best a pretty mediocre tank. Stats wise not very convincing to say at least, with requirements for the third gun mark of around 3700, for example the BZ 176 or the Burask. They are showing us what's going on at tier 8 in random matches. The Stitch being around here in the middle field with 2800, maybe even the upper middle field, but not by far at all. For example, the Nurgle last year is a little bit worse, maybe, but it's kind of the same. And I have to say, if I have to grind another Nurgle, I'm out. I have the Nurgle, it's cool, okay, it was fine, but it's pretty disappointing to play in random battles. For example, the Obsidian being even worse actually in random battles, I have to say, the armor is kind of working better than the Nurgles in random battles sometimes, if you were angling that thing correct. And also the Obsidian has a space for playing it in Onslaught Light, which makes it a really good DPM monster with working armor. So yeah, the Stitch doesn't come by very convincing. The Tiger C, for comparison, which was one Mirny event tank some years ago, after it was just a premium tank for people who connected their World of Tanks account, I think with Amazon or something like this. It became available for everyone to grind it through the Mirny game mode. And for a tier 7, it's actually performing extremely good, being in the top 10 actually of the tier 7 tanks at all. To be precise, number 9, just after the E25. So the King Tiger C and also the Obsidian, in regards of playing it in Onslaught Light, were pretty convincing tanks to make us grind for them. And to show you shortly the average Stitch player, I have some short in-game footage. He comes by, shoots me with HE, gets stuck in the tracks, shoots next to me, lets me reload completely, and dies. But I think the even bigger disappointment are the rewards, which are on the way for getting the Stitch, which are basically not worth the whole grind. I mean, you need around like 70 keys, 60 keys, 60 keys again for like the last episodes, which are even not that high of rewards, like 150 pounds. Well, okay, I don't need them, I guess, and well, the personal training manual is nice to have, but the whole grind you have to do to get there, so much time you need to spend. I think the first rewards, they are nice to have, especially the commander, of course. You can get it quite easy, I think, for around 20 or 30 keys. And you also get universal guide. Also, yeah, the first, like, 5 missions are not so difficult. Well, already for the 5th one you need 30 keys, which is around like 1 hour of playing if you get around 6 keys if you're grinding in normal mode. But yeah, for example, second reward is 50 battle pass points if you're grinding the battle pass. Not too bad, but it becomes pretty ridiculous when we are going in this area here. I mean, 30 keys, alright, for a universal guide at 100 bonds. Special equipment, not bad to have. Also here are some components. But the latest point, I think it's getting not worth it anymore, is with stage 8. After you maybe have done all of this, which this one is not even that important. So you end up basically with just a lot of bullshit you don't really need. As a mid or long-term player, you will basically not find anything really useful for the amount of time you would have to grind for it. I mean, like 200 components for 50 keys. I don't know, I'm not in that desperate need of components. I think basically the most important thing is to get the commander, and then you can actually skip the whole event if you want to. I think for every one of us, it's pretty clear that this whole event is about the keys. And of course, Wargaming wants you to buy them. That's just an event for draining our gold, which we still have maybe piled up from last year's Christmas. So we want to suck us dry to sell us more the upcoming Christmas. But the whole offers are really not worth it, I think. The whole Mirny Store, pretty disappointing, like normally. You also could buy the Nurgle or Obsidian for money. So you basically could have saved all your time from last year grinding for them, just pay like around 35 euro and here you go. That makes it even less tempting to grind those Mirny tanks in the end, I think, because then you know, okay, I can just buy them next year. Why should I now spend hours and hours of grinding it if the mode is not so fun, if it's endlessly repeating? Some people might think those camouflages are worth it. I think they are completely overpriced for what they are. They're not looking bad or anything, but they're just like extremely expensive. And yeah, that's the whole point of the event. Buy stuff save yourself the grind and just spend real money, or spend endless hours for mediocre rewards. Pretty low this year. I actually enjoy this event, playing against the bots, but not in an endless grind, and also not for basically nothing in the end. So yeah, other stuff is going on, for example, like Onslaught. So I think this year's Mirny event was a pretty big disappointment.